baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Father's Day. Why not treat yourself to a Father's Day gift that keeps giving? The second half of the MLB season will sell for $4.99, but if you sign up before this offer expires on Sunday, we'll throw in the 5 weeks leading up to the All-Star break for free. That's only $4.99 for every MLB play from now through the final game of the World Series in November from your favorite WagerTalk and Sports Memo handicapper. This amazing offer expires Sunday at midnight, so just go to your favorite handicappers page at WagerTalk or Sports Memo and lock in all of the MLB action through the World Series for under $3.50 a day.
All right, welcome everybody to WagerTalk Today, the world's best daily sports betting show. Teddy covers, like always, sitting in the seat next to me, about 3,000 miles away. We got a great show, Teddy. Marco D'Angelo joining us. He's talking NBA. We got a big game tonight. Golden State versus Boston. He's also going to look at the Texas Rangers Detroit Tigers game. Ralph Michaels in the middle. He's got a chart. We have a chart. And he's going to look at the Cleveland Guardians Colorado game and also a player prop in the NBA, and Matt Joseph at the end of the show with some baseball. My brother, I missed you the last 2 days. How are you? How have you been doing?
Well, we won again last night. No complaints in that regard. President, there was something you said that was smart once. I want to talk about it here because you talked about the highest totals. You want to bet them over, not under. That was certainly the case at MLB yesterday. When you see the wind blowing out at Wrigley and it's hot and humid, as long as it's not two aces or two ice cold lineups, you don't think about it. You bet it over the total. Cubs Padres over yesterday, 11.5, 12. When you see that number at Wrigley, you already know what direction the wind is blowing. And of course, it cashed by the fifth inning. The very first line service in Vegas, the grandfather of the WagerTalk live odds screen, this guy named Roxy Roxborough, who started the first line service. And he made his reputation back in the day doing nothing but betting totals at Wrigley Field. He had a buddy in Chicago that lived by the stadium. He would call him every morning, and the odds in Vegas weren't reflecting which way the wind was blowing. And that's really how Roxy Roxborough got his start and how Las Vegas Sports Consulting got his start and why we have a live odds screen today. So it's not a one-trick pony with Wrigley totals flying over when the wind is blowing out and it's hot and humid. Harder to do today on getaway day. Wider strike zone, less plate discipline. Still, first Diego, Chicago, early start MLB in my big game breakdown a little bit later in the show.
Okay, Teddy covers. You have frozen, but maybe it's just me. I don't know. Anyway, I want to read you guys a chat exchange that happened on the Monday show. This guy, Zoni Norcal, writes, every time Teddy talks about how hot he is, it usually goes the other way. Then Sports Fan writes, troll, he's been a professional handicapper for 35 years. Then he also wrote, he's been at 71% in the NBA since February. Teddy, are you with us? 71% NBA record since February?
Shh. Yes. It's been really good.
Well,
and none of this, and it's none of these like trifecta spots are betting first quarter, first half, full game, same team. No, it's just one play per side or total. And yes, 71%. If you had broken it up into first quarters, first half, full game, money line, all of that, you could have done a lot better. But yeah, we doubled our clients' bankrolls in the NBA since February.
That is unbelievable, man. And I really, you know what? Jack Steven wrote something about you as well. So shout out to the guys who jumped on to defend Teddy there. Really appreciate it and really true. That is for sure. Dude, I won my 5% play last night in hockey. It was a serious sweat. I had the Colorado Avalanche. Go figure, Teddy. They were up 2-0, then 3-1. Then they had a bad couple of minutes. The game ended up being 3-3, goes into overtime. the Avs won, I swear to you, I was jumping around like a lunatic for about 10 minutes. I have like nothing really bad, but I have low blood pressure. It's not, many people have low blood pressure. So when you jump up off of a chair, you sometimes get dizzy. So I jumped up off the chair. I jumped around for 10 minutes, and I had to lie on the floor for 15 minutes to bring it all back down.
Head rush. Yeah.
Man,
yeah.
I try so hard to not get emotionally involved in these games. Try to remind myself, well, there's tomorrow. You're going to lose plays along the way. It never works, dude. It never works.
It shouldn't work. You're invested. Your clients are invested. It's yes, there'll be another day tomorrow, but for today, you're going to do what you do, Prez, which is, root like crazy for your side or total to come in.
Teddy, we got some big news coming at Wager Talk over the next few weeks, so everybody stay tuned for that. Marco knows. What's going on, Marco D?
I'm glad to be here, back in the swing of things. Just spent 10 days in Pittsburgh. I went to a concert in Pittsburgh and watched my horses race. And pure luck, we had 4 horses race while I was gone. Did not get into the winner's circle with any of those 4. Come home, first horse that races while I'm back in Vegas, raced yesterday. Wins and pays $60 to win.
Well, hey, you made $60.
Well, we made a little more than that. We get purse money, but wife Lori was bummed out because she wanted her picture taken, and this is the horse that is actually named after her, Sin City Lori. So she was doubly bummed.
How many horses do you have?
We've got 3 horses racing right now, and I've got a 4th horse that'll be racing within the next 2 to 3 weeks. He'll be making his 2-year-old debut. So excited about that. It's been a good year for me with the horses.
Well, can you get one in the Derby so we can all go and wear hats?
Well, mine wouldn't be the Derby. Mine would be the Little Brown Jug in Delaware, Ohio, because we got harness horses, as your buddy Carmine's brother does.
Oh, I didn't realize they were harness horses.
Yep.
Well, get one into the Little Brown Jug, will you? We'll come out and watch.
Sounds good.
Brother, we got an NBA game going tonight, a big game, an important game, a clinching game for Golden State, or a series continue game for Boston. We have seen some line moves on this game. It is now at -4. You want to talk to us about the total? Should we go over or under?
Yeah, this is going to be not a popular opinion based on the way this series has gone. We've seen them play tight defense in this game. Boston's had trouble to score. But I'm looking at this, and I handicap games differently when we get into closeout games. Because, and I know you're a big hockey guy, Prez, and I know Andrew's talked about, overs in third periods, in elimination games and such, because, teams aren't going to give up. They're going to fight right to the end. They'll pull goalies early. You're going to keep fouling if it's an NBA game. And I think there's just been too much movement in this game from where this total started the series at. And there's a few things that I am going to look at from the last game and try to find an indicator. As far as the game goes itself, I'll be honest, I lean to Boston. We're laying 4 here. Spread, as we said at the beginning of the NBA Finals, doesn't matter in these games. And so far, it's been true through the first 5 games. Just pick the winner. You got the point spread winner as well. So if you're worried about laying the 4 points with Boston, that should make you feel a little bit better. But I look at Boston from that last game, and again, they struggled to score. They didn't get 100 in that game. But there were some good things that were different about that game. They did hit a reasonable number of their 3-point shots. They had been shooting poorly, on different games of this series. They hit 34% from 3, and they also got to the foul line more. And that's something that's I think is the biggest indicator here. They finally got to the foul line 31 times in Game 5. That was the highest either team has gotten to the foul line. Now, unfortunately for Boston, they got there, but they missed 10 foul shots. They only connected on 21 of 31. I think they have to come out and excuse the phrase, especially since I don't have any hair to catch on fire, but they got to come out of this game with a quick start. And I think that that's going to carry the tempo of this game. The last game, they came out of the gate slow. It stayed slow. Golden State had the lead in the first quarter, was able, to ride the momentum of the lead. Boston came back and once again faltered in the fourth quarter. I think here they're going to go fast-paced, and I got a stat that makes sense, and I want to hear what Teddy has to say on this one. Golden State, the last 21 times that they have been in an elimination spot, closeout game on the road, the over is 16-5. And the average points scored in those games was 223. Now, to me, it makes sense. If you're on the road, and unless it's a Game 7, that means you got an insurance policy. You got another game to play, at least one, and you're going to be home for that next game. So you can play a little bit looser. You also have the home team in that desperation situation, generally will control the tempo. If you're not playing with, that man, for Golden State being on the road, life or death situation, you can tend to play a little bit looser, and that'll result in higher scoring games. You're not playing that hard-nosed defense. I'm going to take that angle and ride over 210 tonight.
So in 3 of the last 4 games, Marco, we've seen the Celtics offense grind to a halt in the fourth quarter, where Golden State has been able to figure out what to do. And Boston, it's not like they've shot badly. They've got nothing to do. There's not an open shot for them that they can put together. Do you think that changes for Game 6? And if so, how?
Well, again, being the reason, and I'll be honest with you, I did have the over in Game 5. And in retrospect, it was a mistake on my part. The more I thought about it afterwards, Game 5 is the pivotal game of a series. If you're tied at 2-2, we know the history. You win Game 5, more often than not, you go on to win the series. So that's played with a little more sense of urgency. When you're at Game 6, there's one team that has that sense of urgency. The other one, like I said, is playing with house money. And I think Boston, as we've seen, they can't play a half-court game with Golden State. They just can't. They struggle too much to try to get, as you say, good looks and good shots. It's not like they're not shooting the ball well. They're just having to work too hard to get it. They need to move the ball up the court and try to open up the lanes and play at a faster pace, drive the lane, and get those foul shots. And I think that's going to happen. And I don't want to throw the conspiracy theory out there, but if there's going to be any questionable calls or, coin toss calls, let's say, I'm sure they might go the Boston way because I know the NBA would love a Game 7.
Marco D'Angelo, everyone, co-founder of WagerTalk.com. And Marco, we got a lot of people talking NBA in the chat room. DGen likes Celtics first half. LJ, Celtics in 7, Avs in 6. Jim Turner likes the Tampa Bay Lightning to only win 1 game. Eddie, did you bet last night in the NHL, bro? I mean, Stanley Cup is happening. You've had an outstanding season. I just didn't look. Did you take a play last night?
I did take a play, Prez. What I did was I was with you. I liked Colorado. I thought they would win Game 1 because it was such a contrast of style for Tampa. They came off playing that physical series against the Rangers that make you play their style. They make you play an ugly game. And that's not Colorado hockey at all. Colorado's a quick team. They like to play open. They score a lot of goals. And I thought Colorado was the side. In first period, man, we're looking smart. But then we did have one heck of a sweat. But what I did with it, I didn't want to lay the price. So I hooked them in a money line parlay with a baseball team that ended up making it a plus parlay. And, it worked out well for me last night in that regard. And it's been a good run, and great call by you on the 5% with Colorado in game one.
Yeah, I mean, listen, what a fascinating game. Colorado dominated that first period completely, and then I felt like Tampa Bay was able to slow them down in the second and a fair amount of the third. It's going to be interesting to see who sets the pace in game two. Marco, baseball, Texas playing Detroit tonight. What time does this game start? 7:10. I'm actually betting this game. I just literally bet this game about 3 minutes before the show started. So I'm curious what your thoughts are. Where are you going here?
Well, on first look, people are going to think I might have lost my marbles because I'm looking to bet the Tigers here, and I'm going to do it for a first 5-inning wager simply because I just don't bet the Tigers full game because they'll, oftentimes just find a way to lose, and I am not a fan of that bullpen, never have been. So I'll look for first 5, and the reason I'm doing that with tonight's play, got a couple reasons. First of all, I think this is an absolutely horrendous spot for the Texas Rangers. They're just finished up a 3-game series at home against the Astros. That's their arch rival, in-state rival, division rival. They get up for those games. Yep. Now they got to go on the road and play the hapless Tigers. This makes them, in my opinion, so ripe for a letdown. Not only that, if you look, this is the 4th straight series for Texas in which they're going to be in a different city. They played at Cleveland, at Chicago last week, returned home, then to play the Astros, and now right back out on the road and no travel day. So, again, you got a bad scheduling spot for Texas. Now you look at the pitching matchup. On paper, you'll look at the numbers and see Martin Perez and say that, he's got dominating numbers over Bo Brisky. He does, but if you look at the last start on Perez, to me, I refer to pitchers all the time like I'm reading the racing form for a horse race. They go in and out of form. I think Perez is ready to go out of form. If you look at his last start, only 5 innings, gave up 7 runs. What was more alarming was he had 12 hits in that game and 2 walks. So 14 guys reached base in just 5 innings of work. A lot of times that's an indicator, low strikeouts in that game as well, that he's slipping out of form. With that said, I also look at his history against the Tigers. Not a good record when he faces the Tigers. His ERA in 9 career starts is over 6, and his whip is over 1.5. Not good numbers. Now we look at Bo Brisky. Even though he's got average numbers, this will be the first time Texas has ever seen him. I always say, first time around the league, the pitchers have the advantage over the hitters. That's why I'm looking at a first 5-inning wager here. I want to just get the Detroit pitcher, go through the lineup just a couple times, get him out after 5, and look for a lead with the Tigers through 5. And that's my play. First 5 Tigers, you're getting back like 135 on that.
So the quote from Perez after his last start, sometimes I'm not going to have my stuff and I just got to go out there and compete. They had my back. The lineup had my back on Saturday. That feels pretty awesome. Of course, Texas won that game that Perez got lit up. In fact, they're now 7-1 in his last 8 starts. The Tigers are the coldest team in baseball. They lost 13-0 yesterday. They had the team meeting afterwards. Does the team meeting have any factor in play here? Or do you just think this is that Perez's last start is a harbinger of things to come?
Well, obviously, the way I'm betting it, I'm hoping, and my handicapping is indicating that we're going to see another mediocre outing out of Perez in this game. But as far as team meeting goes with Detroit, it can't hurt. Can't get any worse. And again, when I do take a team that's losing like this, even if it's a team that doesn't have a great bull, then I'm not taking it because part of the reason is the bullpen is so bad, and that's why I'm not going full game. If I have a team that's losing, when I take a first 5-inning wager, they can still lose that game, and I can squeeze out a win. If I'm up 2-1 after 5, and then they find a way to lose it, because let's face it, the longer a game goes with the worst team, the advantage is supposed to shift to the better team. And clearly, there's no doubt that Texas is the better team. And if they played 10 times, they probably win 7 or 8 of those 10. But the situation tonight with the pitcher for Detroit and with the travel and coming off the Houston series, to me, that's the perfect storm to try to get the plus 135. And I have one more stat that I didn't give you. This is a Major League Baseball league-wide stat from the last 5 years. If you take an underdog, a home underdog between 125 and 175 after a game where they were out hit by 10 or more hits. So, as you said, they got clobbered yesterday, so that would qualify. These teams are 51 and 37. Now, you might say, okay, yeah, that's 58%. That's good. But what makes it even better, as I said, every one of those plays was a minimum of plus 125. You go 51 and 37 when all of those plays are plus 125 or more, you're making serious money. And that's a league-wide stat over the last 5 years.
Marco D'Angelo, everyone. Marco, what do you got to promote?
Well, I don't have anything up yet, guys. I'm finalizing the card, but we have been absolutely on fire since April 1st. All sports combined, we're up over 86% for our clients. That translates to 8,600 at $100 a unit. And we're low volume. I've averaged just 3 plays a day, and we got the job done. I know Teddy's the same school, you too, Prez. We limit the plays. I like quality, not quantity.
There you go. Marco D'Angelo, everyone. Guys, stay with us, man. This show's just begun. Teddy's Big Game Breakdown, Ralph Michaels, Matt Joseph, and, of course, the daily presidential address. We're taking 20 seconds max.
Why not treat yourself to a Father's Day present that will keep giving back? On sale through this Sunday, you can get in on all the MLB action through the All-Star Game for under $5 a day. That's right, you'll get every MLB play, including all best bets for over a month of baseball action from your favorite WagerTalk handicapper for only $149. This amazing offer expires Sunday at midnight, so just go to your favorite handicappers page at WagerTalk or Sports Memo and lock in all the MLB action through the All-Star Game for under $5 a day.
It is time for today's Big Game Breakdown. Tried to give you an afternoon delight winner yesterday, and I failed. Well, that was a frustrating loss, let's put it that way. How many hit batsmen and errors were there to score runs? Today, we'll try it again. See if we can get you an early start winner before dinner. Let's talk about the Padres and the Cubs. Talk about them at the top of the show, and there's no reason not to talk about them here right now. Looking at the WagerTalk Live odds screen, we're seeing San Diego in the minus 165, minus 170 range, total 11. The wind is blowing out at Wrigley again today, and it's going to be hot and humid. The Padres have been the type of team that you want in these closeout games on the highway. They're 7-3 in closeout games on the road this year. They swept the Reds in Cincy. They swept the Giants in San Francisco. They've been winning in these spots. And the last couple of nights, the Cubs had leads, and the Padres offense just blew them off the field each of the last 2 nights. Joe Musgrove, certainly trustworthy. Lineups and bullpen-wise, the Padres are worthy of being $2 favorites in this ball game. Musgrove, of course, is yet to allow a run in June. And we're talking about the best start in Padres history. They're 23-11 on the road. For Chicago, we got Swarmer going today, who just gave up 6 home runs last time out against the Yankees, giving up 9 dingers in 3 starts. The wind's blowing out. The Cubs have lost 9 straight, only 2 of which the game was within 2 runs. Look, this isn't one to overthink. Lay the chalk, play the run line, hot, humid, wind blowing out equals run line for me on this one. San Diego minus 1.5. You can find them at minus 125 right now. Worthy of a wager in this bettor's opinion. Early start, MLB Padres on the run line. Look for San Diego to finish out the sweep in Chicago. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Thank you, Teddy. Johnny Detroit in the chat room today, and he writes, rumor on the street is we might have a live in-game wagering show being beta tested. Oh, that's exciting. I can't wait to see that and hear about it. That, however, is not the big news that we have coming your way. And guys, when we say we have big news, it's always pretty big. So stay with us. I don't know exactly when we'll be announcing our big news, but there's big news coming. Ralph Michaels joining us, and man, it's like hail to the pen. What's up, my friend?
Hey guys, I just want to jump in and reiterate and actually expand on something Marco said. Marco said in these finals, the point spread hasn't come into play because every team that's won has covered. I tweeted this when the finals started. Since 2006, there have been 75 NBA Finals games with a spread of 6 or less. So the spread has to be 6 or less. The team that's won those games have gone 73-0-2, 100% in 75 games. So for the last 15 years, if you bet the team that wins in the finals with a spread of 6 or less, you have covered. That means the team laying the points has won the game. And obviously, if you think about playing the dog, it makes sense to sprinkle some on the money line.
Sprinkling some on the money line. Why wouldn't put it all on the money line given that situation, Ralph?
Yeah,
well,
Ralph.
You know, I still am the conservative, Ralph, Teddy. You know, 100% record of 75 plays over 15 years is awesome. But, you know, if you're starting to get that 4, 5, or 6 point spread, you know, at some point the streak's going to be broken, and I don't want to be the one to be on the wrong side of that. So I have split mine the one time I did it in the finals. So granted, call me a little chicken or call me conservative, whichever phrase you want to use.
I'm just going to call you Ralph. Teddy, you know, you mention all the time, Steve Merrill, don't catch a falling knife. One of the guys in the chat room was just talking about it now. Tomorrow, live on this show, I am going to try to catch a falling knife, actually. So make sure you're all here tomorrow, guys. I'm going to drop it, and I'm going to catch it. So that'll be interesting TV, don't you think?
Only if I was throwing it.
No, it's a falling knife, and I'm going to do it. I don't know if you know this, Teddy, but I was a professional juggler in my 20s. I traveled the world for 3 years, busking and juggling. I am absolutely positive that I can catch the handle of that falling knife. We're going to do it live on this show tomorrow. Ralph, you got a chart. I hand it to you.
You know, this is a chart that someone reached out to me on Twitter, so I wanted to share. You know, the information is what it is, but it's MLB teams that lost as a favorite of minus 150 or more in their last game. And then on the right-hand side are MLB dogs that won a game at plus 150 or more. Now, if you look at the records, they're both negatives. And if you say, hey, aren't these the exact same thing and the opposite? No, you have to remember a few things. A favorite of 150 or more, obviously the line is minus 150 or more. To have a dog of 150 or more, that means the favorite was 170 or more. So you have some of those games missing, the lines between 130 and 150 as a dog. And also it's not actually the same, because if this happened in the final game of a series, the record's not the same. So there is a substantial subset that overlaps, games 1 and 2 of games when the favorite was 170 or more. But if you look on the left-hand side, teams off a loss as a favorite of minus 150 or more, they're 58% this year, but with an average line of minus 163, they're minus 8.2 units. Going back since 2018, you'll see 58.7% minus 36.6 units. I will say this, Prez, your Toronto Blue Jays, 8-2 off a loss as a big favorite, and they have won 6 units of profit. Take a look at the Dodgers on the very bottom. If the Dodgers lose as a favorite of minus 150 or more this season, they are only 9-10 with an average price of minus 200, minus 11.8 units. The interesting thing is when you look at it and you look at the negative numbers, I would think there'd be more positive numbers. But when teams in the MLB win as a dog of 150 or more, this year they're 37-63, 37%, losing 12 units. And even a bad sample size since 2018, 38%, losing 86 units with an average price of plus 154. Take away the Mets and the Giants that are 2-0, and basically every team is even or in a losing proposition if you win as a dog of 150 or more in your next game. So, do with it as you wish. I'll be posting it on Twitter, as I always do, at CalSportsLV. And if there's a chart you want to see, I'm going to be taking a couple weeks off to go do some traveling. But, when we get into football season especially, hit me up on Twitter and find your chart on here when you guys view me on Thursday.
So, Ralph, let me follow up on the chart because it seems like the end analysis tells us we don't want to bet bigger favorites off a loss. And we don't want to bet bigger dogs off a win. Can we just cut it? Is that cutting to the chase on what this chart is telling us? It's like when your favorite's losing at minus 150 or higher, you don't want them the next day. And when your dog's winning at 150 or higher, you don't want them the next day either. Correct?
Yeah, it's a very good filter. Obviously, Teddy, we're never going to say never, but perhaps you do want to look at a situation like a team like the Dodgers that has been playing uneven this year. If you are a favorite, maybe you find them in a fade position where you're going to play against them. But a very fair filter to say this. If there's an upset of a team that's a favorite of 150 or more, be very careful what you do moving forward.
Ralph Michaels joining us, everyone. And Ralph, this is your last appearance on the show for a few weeks.
Yeah, as I said, I'm going to do some traveling, and I'm going to go to the Northeast and say hey to Vino and Merrill. And, I've been remiss in getting my passport, but if I get my passport renewed in time, Prez, I'll be coming up to see you and Carm as well. So excited to do some, never been to Fenway Park, want to go to Camden again, going to go do Phillies and Baltimore and D.C. and do a Northeast ballpark for the summer tour.
How wonderful. And just to let you know, Carm does have an extra room for you to stay. So if you do get up here, you can for sure stay at Carm's house.
I'm sure you have a suite reserved for me at the Ritz-Carlton in Toronto, so I'm not really worried about Carm's room at all.
If you are using the Ritz-Carlton as code for Carm's house, you are 100% correct, Ralph. Ralph, Cleveland playing Colorado. A little bit of money coming in the last couple of hours on Cleveland. It did come out at minus 125. There's now a minus 137 on the board. This is a 3:10 Eastern game. How do we bet this, my friend?
Well, much like Teddy calling for the sweep against the Cubs, I'm calling for the sweep against the Rockies. It's McKenzie and Cool. McKenzie, in 7 of his 11 starts, 2 runs or less, tried mashing the ball, hitting 304 the last 7 games, double-digit hits in 5 of those 7 games. You look at the Indians against, as an away favorite, 9-3 when they're a small dog or a favorite. You look at Cool, 12-12 ratio in his last 4 starts, a whip over 1.6. Rockies 1-5 in his starts, and the Rockies a poor home favorite, 3-9. A poor home dog, 3-9 as a home dog. I think the price is very fair for the Tribe. They're playing with confidence. Ramirez is an MVP candidate, and a couple young hitters they brought up has really changed this lineup and made it a legitimate threat.
Teddy?
So they asked me as to whether I thought that Steph Curry to win MVP was a better bet than the Warriors to win the title before the series. And I said no, because even though you're getting a better return on to back Curry for MVP than you would for the Warriors to win the title, the fact is there are other Warriors that could win the MVP if they win in lieu of Steph Curry. At this stage of the series, there's only one guy for Golden State who has a chance to win MVP if they win the title besides Steph Curry. That man is Andrew Wiggins. Talk to me about what you think he's going to do tonight in Boston.
Well, I posted the points, rebounds, and assist prop for the last game where he exploded as a free play at WagerTalk, and that was an easy winner. You look at Andrew Wiggins, and he has absolutely come of himself in this postseason. You look at the first series against Denver. He only averaged 30 minutes. He averaged 21 points, rebounds, and assists in those 30 minutes. Averaged 32-plus minutes against Memphis. Points, rebounds, and assists, 22.7. Averaged 37 minutes against Dallas. Averaged 28.4 points, rebounds, and assists. The number at FanDuel, 27.5. You look at what he's done the last two games, 16 and 13 rebounds. He's absolutely attacked the boards. He's played 40, 43, and 43 minutes the last three games. He is going to see 40-plus minutes again after this performance in the last game. Last couple games, he's averaged 20.3 points, 8.7 assists, and 8.7 rebounds and 2 assists. That's 32 per game in that stretch. Fair number at 27.5. You have to lay 120 on juice at FanDuel. Worth the price. Andrew Wiggins, over prop, points, rebounds, and assists combined.
There you go, Ralph. Awesome stuff. Guys, I got to tell you, if you are looking for an NBA play tonight, Ralph Michaels has a 5% play up. Listen to these numbers. 16-2 run in his 5% plays. That's 16 wins and 2 losses. 20-5 run in NBA plays rated 4% or higher. This is a big play. And Ralph Michaels has it. He's on the front page of WagerTalk.com. Head over there, grab that play. Ralph, did I take care of all the business?
Prez, you did awesome. And let's see, how many people are going to vote? Can we do a pool? Let's see. Are you minus 200 to not get cut, plus 160 to get cut?
Plus one. Listen, I'm golfing tomorrow after the show. I am not getting caught. I am going to catch that knife. Everybody make sure to be here tomorrow at noon. I will catch that falling knife. Ralph, get out of here, brother.
Thanks, guys.
Teddy, Matt Joseph joining us. Love Matt, real pro in this. Always great analysis. Matt Joseph, welcome to the show.
You buttering me up here because I was going to say something about you not catching the knife. Is that what you're doing here?
Say something, bro. Go ahead.
Are you going to wear
I'm a
gloves?
big man with a huge ego.
Will there be gloves wearing? Or are you going barehanded?
No. Barehanded.
I'll say
Butter
minus
knife.
300 you get caught.
No, I will not use a butter knife, Teddy. Minus 300 that I will be cut. Oh, God, what have I gotten myself into? Maybe I should do it with a spoon. Anyway.
I want
Matt,
a
Orioles and
knife.
Blue Jays, brother. I always love talking about the Blue Jays. Man, they'd be really good, except for the Yankees are just on frickin' fire right now. They're playing the Orioles tonight. You have a bet for us on this game. What's going on?
Yeah, I like the Orioles at over 2.5 runs scored in this game, and I think that people are undervaluing Baltimore somewhat. And if you look at their road games as of late, they've gone over this. They've scored 3 runs or more in 11 of their last 15 road games. And I think, look, Adley Rutschman, who got the home run last night, he's hitting cleanup tonight. He's getting a little bit of confidence. even if the numbers aren't there for him, I think the youthful exuberance is kind of going through that clubhouse. And I think they're starting to play a little bit better. I think there's going to be some value on them, whether you're taking them on the run line, whether you're looking at the money line. In this situation, I'm looking at the team total here. Opponents have scored 3 runs or more in 9 of 12 starts that Kevin Gausman's made. He's been kind of hit or miss. He's actually been touched up a little bit more at home as of late. So I think the Orioles are going to score over 2.5 runs. You can find that on DraftKings. Some of the other books a little bit higher up, 3.5. So I think there's some value here at over 2.5 runs for the Orioles this afternoon.
So let me ask you this. You can get a big plus price at over 3.5 runs. Is that the type of thing you would look to do if you couldn't get the 2.5 at the one book that has it?
I'd consider it. I just looked at their lineup. Pretty much everybody's in except for Trey Mancini, which, I would have liked to have had a full lineup. But, of course, it's Thursday, and you always want to look at the lineups on a day like today to make sure the stars are in. It's always that one number, Teddy, though. I'm a little more cautious than others, so I like the 2.5, slightly more juice than the 3.5. Plus, Gausman is probably going to go 6 or 7 innings. Toronto's bullpen's okay. So I would not do it, but that's also because I'm a more cautious gambler than other people would be.
Matt Joseph joining us, everyone. You can find Matt at sportsmemo.com. Matt, we already talked Cleveland with Ralph. He likes the Guardians today. You've got a prop bet for us. What is it?
So the Cleveland Guardians are 40-14 to the under on the K-props for the opposing pitchers. That's incredible. They are averaging only 3.79 strikeouts against starting pitchers so far this season. 28-9 to the under against right-handed starting pitchers, averaging 3.67. Well, we're getting Chad Kuhl here at under 3.5. And once again, I know we don't love necessarily calling out specific books. 3.5 is at FanDuel, 2.5 is at DraftKings, and that one strikeout makes a big difference. So I like the under 3.5 here. Kuhl's had 3, 0, 4, and 4 in his 4 starts in Coors Field. Cleveland has the lowest K rate of the season against right-handers, and 10 of the last 12 right-hand starting pitchers have gone under this number. Shane Bieber went over this number, but of course Shane Bieber is a god for Cleveland. But this is a team that just doesn't strike out, and Chad Kuhl's not good, and Chad Kuhl doesn't go deep in games. So I like under 3.5 here. I don't think I'd have the balls enough to take the under 2.5, but I certainly like under 3.5 here for Chad Kuhl.
So when you're talking about the Guardians, one of the things that stands out to me when you look at they faced a really weak slate through the first third of this MLB campaign compared to the average team. Do you think that has affected why their K rate is so low? Do you expect some regression in that regard? Or is this just a team that takes good at bats and doesn't strike out a whole lot, and this is something you can make money on with the Guardians all year long?
I think the books are onto this because, unfortunately, and I've pointed this out, like last week, they had nothing but 2.5s and 3.5s, and they were still going under. And you're right, they've faced a lot of crappy pitchers. Like I'm looking at my list because Ariel and I have made a database of all the K-props for all season long, and I'm kind of looking at some of the starters. And other than like Christian Javier, Sonny Gray when he was healthy, there's not a lot of great pitchers that they face. So I think that's part of the number here. But once again, Chad Kuhl, I think, is in the lower part of this pitching tier and stuff like that. So I think you're right. They have not faced a ton of aces, and I think that's been beneficial. But of course, Chad Kuhl is far from an ace, so I think that trend will continue today with the under 3.5.
Matt Joseph. Matt, what do you got to promote?
Well, it's hard for me to somewhat sell a package at the start of the day because the numbers move so quickly. So I really prefer the people join with regards to all access. That way you can get it when I get it. I tell you which books to go get it because then I'm doing a lot of the juice shopping for you. And then, of course, college football is coming up. My win totals last year was like 10-1 last year in win totals. So
nice.
Starting to do a little bit of research on that as we approach college football this season.
Matt, next time you come on, can you bring let's talk some college football. Let's hear some win-loss totals, okay?
I can do that.
Matt and I will be talking some college football on Cover It with Teddy Covers this week. Sirius XM channel 159. You can check out the podcast version. We'll tweet it out over the weekend. I look forward to picking his brain.
Teddy, nothing is cooler than when you promote that show. I don't know if you realize, but this is how it goes. Matt Joseph is joining us on XM Radio 382, 2 p.m. Eastern. Stay with us, be with us, join us. Now back to the show. Anyway, Matt, get the hell out of here, man. You're done. You're done. Shout out. I gotta read a comment from Jeffrey Robinson. I bought a 12-month pass to WagerTalk. Every player, every capper. I bought it in April. I recouped the cost in May, and I'm profiting every other week. Jeffrey, thanks for sharing that, man. And it makes me so happy to hear that. Kudos to you. Keep on winning. Mitchell Brothers writes, what's the big news? You guys finally working on the weekend? Actually, Mitchell, that is not the big news, but we are in discussions to do some shows during the weekend this coming fall. Teddy, it's time for the daily presidential address. All right, what a show, guys. If you're watching this on Twitter, make sure to check out WagerTalk Today. Thursday's show, we had Marco D'Angelo, Ralph Michaels, Matt Joseph. We did a deep dive into the NBA game going on tonight. Both total bet and some prop bets. We also looked at a lot of the baseball games. I have two bets to give you guys. I just want to quickly make mention. I'm on a 9-2 run in baseball. I have one baseball play up tonight as well. Tomorrow's show, Friday, right at the beginning of the show, I am going to catch a falling knife live on air. It's either going to work or I'm going to cut my hand. And then I won't be able to golf and I'll be very upset. So make sure to tune in tomorrow around noon as I attempt for the first time in my life to actually catch a falling knife. I hope Steve Merrill is here. Teddy, two plays I'm betting tonight. The first is Golden State over the total. Marco D'Angelo was on the show today. He broke it down perfectly. If you guys want to hear the reasons why to bet Golden State and Boston over, check out the WagerTalk Today show. I'm also on the LA Angels, Teddy, at -121. Those are the two bets for the daily presidential address. I'm having a bagel, cream cheese, tomato, cucumber, and red onion. I'm having it today. I'm having it in 10 minutes, and then I have a golf lesson. Take us home.
That's going to wrap it for the Thursday edition of Wager Talk Today. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same channel. 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, enjoy the games. And good luck with your wagers.
Want a free PlayStation? Yes, free. Who would have thought in November 2020, when Sony released that PlayStation 5, that we'd be sitting here almost 20 months later with no consoles on shelves and very few available with online retailers? Well, we got our hands on a disc console, but instead of teaching Prez and Teddy how to play NBA 2K, we'd like to send it to a loyal WagerTalk supporter. You can start earning entries now and repeat daily just by going to wt.buzz/PS5 and perform the social media tasks below to earn entries into our raffle. The contest will end at midnight on July 3rd, and a random winner will be announced on July 4th. Help us reach 100,000 subscribers on YouTube and grow our social media footprint, and you could be the new owner of a PS5.